I did reset this case, so we will take it from there. I just need to get the date, so I believe, yeah, this did come in front of my desk, so I do remember this. Okay, Nathan Silva. Nathan Silva. Nathan Silva.
Your
Not
Honor,
present.
he's represented by attorneys Kevin Fisher and Jamie Steinhaus. They waived arraignment, filed a not guilty plea on December 2nd, 2022.
Okay, this one's further notice for trial. Thank you. Did you say Robert Rubin also waived arraignment?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I thought it was a reset, so, okay, that's fine. I'll just further notice that for trial. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sean Daz Thomas. Sean Daz Thomas. Sean Daz Thomas, not present. Elder Trejo, good heavens, no relation, right?
That's right. He did say no relation.
Okay, okay, thank you. Elder Iridian, oh, I like that name, Iridian Trejo. Mr. Trejo, not present. And Idalia Wheeler, not present.
Your Honor, we will be no crossing this case as well. There is actually, it was filed twice. The second filing is 22 CR 003613D. This one was filed manually by the clerk's office, and it does not appear on attorney manager. So we will be no crossing this one, which is in the Orca division. The 22 CR case is before Judge Edline, and it is scheduled for jury trial on January 3rd of 2023.
Okay, let's do that. Null cross the case. Just send me a proposed null cross order. Okay, Miss Riley, are you handling the Stanley and Navarro, please?
Ms. Givia is handling Mr. Stanley.
Okay.
I am handling Ms. Navarro.
Oh, you're handling Miss Navarro. Okay, I'm going to start with Mr. Stanley. I think you missed. Who was the attorney?
Sarita Githia, Your Honor. Good morning.
Good morning. No, Mr. Mitchell, Kenneth Mitchell, Attorney Mitchell wanted to speak to Miss Riley. So if the host could place Miss Riley and Mr. Mitchell in a breakout room, please.
And Judge, I didn't want to interrupt you. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm actually going to speak to Mr. Hodges. I'm not sure what's going on with the Fulton County server, but I'm having issues logging on with my laptop. But I'm going to use my phone to contact Mr. Hodges to see if he qualifies, Judge. So I just want to let you know if I step away from the Zoom call, it's just to speak to Mr. Hodges, but I will log back on, Judge.
Noted. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. So Mr. Mitchell and Miss Riley, you're going to go into a breakout. And Ms. Githier, we're going to address Keldrick Stanley's plea. Mr. Stanley, if you'd like to come forward. All right, just walk all the way around. Don't come through those double doors, please. Thank you. Right at that podium. Yeah, for Denise Riley and Kenneth Mitchell. Thank you. All right. Mr. Stanley, good morning. You are representing yourself, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, no worries. I'll look at it. I'll handle it. I think, I don't know.
Okay.
Look it up every time.
This is State of Georgia versus Keldrick Stanley, accusation number 22 CR 006176J. Mr. Stanley, you've been advised of your right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney, but you've chosen to proceed self-represented. You've read the document with regards to waiver of counsel and the consequences of proceeding self-represented. Do you have any questions?
No.
Do you understand the consequences of representing yourself?
Yes.
All right. This is going to be a negotiated plea. Mr. Stanley has completed the documents with respect to this particular plea hearing. And representing the state is going to be Mr. Rita Ithier. Mr. Stanley, may I place you on the oath for purposes of this plea? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Githier, Mr. Stanley was charged with the offense of driving while license suspended or revoked. What's the state's offer?
The state's offer is 12 months to serve 2 days, credit for time served, 2 days, a $500 fine, and probation to terminate upon completion of conditions.
All right. And Mr. Stanley, are those the terms to which you've agreed?
Yes.
And do you understand that by entering into this plea, you would have to agree that the factual basis, the venue, that is Fulton County, and that the identity of the defendant, that is you, are all true and correct? Do you so agree?
Yes.
Have you consumed any medication or alcohol recently?
No.
And have you understood the documents and have you understood the proceedings?
I understood everything. I just have one question about the probation. She said 12 months. What is that?
Okay, that is just legal narrative or litany. What it means is that she's asking that you sentenced to 12 months to serve 2 days, credit for time served 2 days. And therefore, there's no jail time. That's what that means. Okay,
Or would I be under probation?
then let me finish. Then you're supposed to pay a $500 fine. And if you need time to make that payment, then you would need to be on probation. But if you make your payment by a certain deadline in the very near future, then I won't put you on probation. That's what it means.
Understood.
So before I proceed, how are you able to pay this by Monday?
Maybe possibly, you know.
Okay, so I'm going to put you on probation, all right? And I'm going to waive probation fees for this month and next month,
Okay.
all right? So you must report to probation this month. You must report to probation next month. You don't have to pay probation fees, but if you pay all your fines and court costs, which is going to total up to $730. Fine plus court costs is $730. If you pay everything by January 31st, 2023, then your probation will terminate.
Okay.
That's what it means.
Okay. Where do I have to come to for probation?
I will explain that to you. My question to you right now is, do you still want to proceed with this plea?
Yes.
Okay. So as I was asking you, are you being forced or are you being induced to take this plea offer today?
No.
You'll have to speak loudly, sir.
No.
And have you read through the documents and understood your waiver of rights?
Yes.
As well as all the stipulations?
Yes.
Just to reiterate, if you decide to plead guilty to this charge, you will be giving up your right to go back to court and have a trial, to confront your accuser, challenge the state's evidence, be able to examine witnesses, present any defenses if you choose to do so, and have the state try to prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes.
How do you plead to driving while license suspended or revoked?
No.
Any objection to a NOLO plea?
No, no objection, Your Honor.
This is going to be a NOLO contendory plea. The sentence is going to be, as I already indicated, 12 months, 2 days to serve, credit for 2 days, $500 fine, to be placed on probation, pending full payment of the fine and court costs. Probation will terminate. So Mr. Stanley will report to probation next Thursday, which is December 22nd, before 3 p.m. The location of the probation office is 132.
I see your pen one more time. Sorry.
Does he have to fill out information for probation? Yeah, we got a form also that he needs to fill out as well.
All right. It's 132.
132 Mitchell Street, Atlanta, Georgia. 30303. And the appointment is Thursday, December 22nd, before 3 p.m. And we're going to hand you this form also to fill out. And we need to get this to the probation officer,
Keep on using my pen at school.
and you can fill it out at the table, sir.
All
At, back, there, yes. I just want to make sure you understand, I'm waiving your probation fees for this month and next month only, December and January 2023. If you pay everything by the end of January, your probation will terminate,
Okay,
but you must report this month and next month.
okay.
All right, any questions?
No.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Giffier, do you have the Blaylock case as well?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. I gather that's Ms. Riley's case as well.
Was Blaylock,
That was from yesterday.
okay, I don't see it on the add-on.
That was on the- No, these are for the final plea. Repeat that, Ms. Hughes?
I said we finished court at 5 o'clock yesterday, so.
Yeah. We tried to add everything on,
That's why they.
but I did announce in open court yesterday that the Blaylock case was reset to today. Mr. Gaither, can you give me Mr. Blaylock's case number, please?
His case number, Judge, is 20 CR 000-575E.
Okay. Ms. Riley, look it up and see if that was your case from yesterday. This was the young man who was supposed to have done 20 hours of community service, but did not complete it. And he's here today. Well, Mr. Gaither will go into that as soon as I identify the prosecutor for this case. And Ms. Bray, as soon as Ms. Riley comes out of her breakout, she will speak with you with regards to this video.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So Ms. Giffier is looking to the Blaylock case. We good, Mr. Stanley? Did you fill out the probation information? All right. We'll need that probation so we can give it to the probation officer.
And I do apologize, Your Honor. What did you need me to do for Mr. Blaylock?
Listen to Mr. Gaither. Ready?
Okay,
Okay, hey, this is Frank Gaither for Mr. Blaylock. Mr. Blaylock was the young man who was on the calendar for yesterday, and on the final plea calendar. And the state's offer that was communicated to him was for him to complete 20 hours of community service, and then the state would know across his case. He is here today, regretfully, but very forthcoming, and stated that, look, I just didn't get my 20 hours community service done. I put it off. I do have a job. I'm working. I put it off. And then when I looked up, I ran out of time. So he's here begging the state's indulgence and the court to allow him just one more opportunity to get this community service done so he can resolve his case.
okay. Let me speak with Miss Riley because this was her case. I need to see how, was this the first reset?
This is the first time it's been on the final plea calendar.
Okay.
Yep.
I would
So
not
this-
object to another reset to give him time to complete the classes.
All right, Mr. Blaylock?
Well, it's community service. It's not classes. It's 20 hours
Okay.
community service.
Community service, I'm sorry.
No
All the way-
problem. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page.
20 hours of community service.
All right. We are addressing State versus Blaylock 20 CR 0000575E. Mr. Blaylock, your case was scheduled yesterday on December 15th at one of our Orca calendars. Final plea, you were supposed to complete 20 hours of community service in order for your case to be closed. In other words, there would be no conviction against you. And that is not very common. It's a great opportunity to try to resolve an outstanding matter. Take your hands out of your pocket. All right. Now, first of all, Mr. Blaylock, I've already advised you of your right to remain silent. Mr. Gaither is your attorney. I'm going to reset your case to January 19th at 9 a.m. in this, hopefully in this courtroom. I'm not sure, but check your notice. And all I need from you is a letter from a nonprofit agency. It's got to have the letterhead and the signature that you have completed at least 20 hours of voluntary community work for them. All right? You're not going to get paid. Now, these are the exceptions, and listen very carefully. Any nonprofit agency, Goodwill, the food bank, animal rescue, you just cannot go to a school and you cannot go to a religious organization. Those are the two exceptions.
Your Honor, I apologize for the interruption. However, Mr. Blaylock, there is someone from a funeral home that has been trying to get permission for him to do his community service there. That is a for-profit organization. I just need Mr. Blaylock to understand that it cannot be done at a funeral home.
Do you know the difference between profit and nonprofit?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
All right, so you can, I don't think, I mean, unless it's a nonprofit company, you have to go to a nonprofit, all right? They will be very appreciative of your help. And if you do not complete it, I'm putting your case immediately on a bench time.
Understood.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Gaither?
Nothing, Judge.
January
Thank you.
19th, back in the courthouse, in person with that letter, at least 20 hours. You're more than welcome to do more than 20 hours, but we want at least 20 hours. Otherwise, well, you don't want to deal with me next year. All right. I promise to be meaner. All right. So thank you. You're free
Thank
to
you.
go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Riley,
Yes,
what's
Your
your
Honor.
announcement with position 3?
Mr. Fonseca Sanchez, I have had an opportunity to speak with Mr. Mitchell. We are still in negotiations. We would ask for this case to be placed on the next available status calendar.
Has this case been arraigned?
It has not, Your Honor.
Today is our arraignment date today.
All right. Mr. Mitchell, do you plan to file a waiver arraignment or shall I arraign your case?
We can arraign it now.
Okay. And your client understands English?
Yes,
Okay. And do you waive a reading of the accusation?
yes, for these purposes, yes, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Miguel Fonseca, I need your video on.
It may be frozen.
Yes, okay. This is State versus Miguel Angel Fonseca Sanchez, case number 21 CR 005922D. Mr. Fonseca Sanchez is present via Zoom, and the company of his attorney, Kenneth Mitchell Jr., is also appearing virtually. Mr. Fonseca Sanchez, you've been accused of battery, domestic violence, simple battery, domestic violence, and cruelty to children in the 3rd degree, with an alleged offense date of October 30th, 2021 in Fulton County, Georgia. Your attorney has waived a reading of the accusations. I'm here to let you know that these are the 3 misdemeanor charges brought against you. You do have a right to remain silent during the course of these proceedings, and anything you say can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney who's representing you. Upon your entry of a not guilty plea, the case will be scheduled for trial. At the time of the trial, you will have the assistance of counsel and you are legally presumed innocent of the charges until the state carries its complete burden of proof to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. If the state does carry its burden of proof and overcome your legal presumption of innocence, you could be convicted of 1 or more of these charges and face a sentence of up to a year in prison and or up to $1,000 fine for each convicted offense. Given this information, how do you plead? Mr. Fonseca Sanchez, given this information, how do you plead?
You know, we're gonna I guess plead not guilty for today and further notice to the status calendar.
Mr. Sanchez, is that your statement, they're pleading not guilty.
Yes, ma'am.
This case has been arraigned. We're going to issue a case management order today, but I'm going to reset it to the next status calendar, which is January 20th at 9 a.m. I anticipate it's going to be in courtroom G33.
Thank you.
All right, and this is going to be a final reset to the status calendar. I want all outstanding discovery issues to be resolved by then, and for the parties to announce either they'd like to entertain a plea or whether they're ready to go to trial.
Thank you, Your Honor. May we be excused, Your Honor?
Yes, sir. Mr. Fonseca, Mr. Mitchell, you're free to go.
All right, have a good one.
All right, Ms. Riley, we're going to take up Ms. Navarro's plea, and then you would need to speak to Ms. Bray about the outstanding discovery issue.
Yes, Your Honor.
And where is Ms. Navarro? Has she received the paperwork? Yes. All right. Have you completed it? All right, please come forward and hand the documents to the marshal, please. Ms. James, Ms. Rockwell was asking something about the middle field, please. Yes. I can go ahead and restate that. If you can give her a date, that would be great. Okay. Is that our only case then for bench trial?
Is that?
Was that a motion,
That
Cal?
was a motion.
Motion. Thank you.
Good morning, Judge.
January 14th at
Jan-
11:30 a.m.
Okay, I think she sent you an email, right?
Yes, that's why.
Okay. All right, we are addressing State of Georgia versus Stephanie Renee Navarro, case number 22 CR 006-198G. Ms. Navarro was originally scheduled on our December 15th status of Orca calendar from yesterday. The case has been reset today for a final plea. Ms. Navarro is present and representing herself. Ms. Navarro, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and you've read the document with regards to waiver of counsel. You understand the consequences of representing yourself? Yes, you need to speak up, okay? You can bring the mic closer to you also. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor.
And may I place you on oath for purposes of the plea? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Navarro is accused of one offense. But lots of documents here. Right. She was originally charged, I can't remember the charge, but I believe the states reduced it to disorderly conduct.
Well,
Is
no,
that-
Your Honor, it has been amended, and so we have added two. So there are now two charges. I'm not sure if they are showing yet in the clerk's system, but should be count one, loitering and prowling, and count two is disorderly conduct. The
Okay.
loitering and prowling is being dismissed.
Okay, so Ms. Navarro, did you understand what Ms. Riley just said?
Yes, Your Honor.
There's only one charge pending against you, and that's disorderly conduct, okay? And I believe the state has offered, why didn't you go ahead and say it, Ms. Riley? I believe it was 150, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct, Your Honor. A $150 fine plus surcharges. I'm not sure if Ms. Navarro is able to pay that today. If she's not, then it would be probation until it's paid.
I am able to pay it today.
Repeat,
I am able to pay it today.
you're gonna pay it today?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and you understand that there's some surcharges? So if I recollect, it was something like $222.50.
Yeah.
Give or take a penny. I honestly don't remember. Okay, thank you. All right, Ms. Navarro, in order for you to agree to do this plea, you have to agree that the factual basis, the venue, and the identity of the defendant, which is you, are all true and correct. Do you so agree?
Yes.
And do you accept these terms?
Yes.
And is anyone forcing you or inducing you to take this plea today?
No.
Are you doing so freely, willingly, and voluntarily?
Yes.
And have you read through the document which outlines the waiver of rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you understand that you will not have a trial.
Yes,
You will not have the assistance of counsel to go back to court, challenge the evidence they have,
yes,
challenge the witnesses they present,
yes,
and have the state try to prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt.
yes,
How do you plead to one count of disorderly conduct?
guilty.
I accept your guilty plea. Your sentence is 12 months probation to pay a $150 fine. If the fine is paid by Monday, December 19th before 5 p.m., then your probation requirements are completely terminated.
All right,
All right.
thank you.
So if you don't pay it by Monday, you have to report to probation on Thursday.
Okay.
Are you paying it by Monday? You're paying it today.
Yes,
Okay. Please hold. The marshal will tell you where to sit because he will need to give you a document.
okay,
Then you go up to the first floor clerk's office and they will direct you to the treasury.
all right, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Okay, this 1, 2. She may have some duplicate sheets of paper in here. I think I've got rid of the duplicates. And this is the Morris waiver. Okay, waiver. No cross. This is Ms. Navarro's disposition sheet. Okay. All right, Miss Bray, you're going to speak to Miss Bray and and that you represent Mr. Yuri, correct, Miss Bray?
Mr. Babick, Yuri Babick.
Yes, okay. Miss Riley, did you want to go into a breakout to discuss the video or?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead. Miss James, if you could place Miss Riley and Miss Bray in a breakout. And let me know whether you think there's still a video out there, whether you need to reset or whether you all want to consider a plea offer or whether you want to go to trial. Because today's the arraignment calendar, okay? Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Miss Rockwell, good morning. She's got a hand up, so okay. As soon as she responds, we'll take it. Okay. Is there anyone?
I
on-
apologize, Judge. Were you calling for me?
No, I was just trying to get a status. A couple of, Mr. Hadid's going to speak first. Yes, Mr. Hadid?
Your Honor, on position number 9 on the arraignment calendar, Canoris Owens. Your Honor, he does not qualify for the service of public defender's office. On his behalf, he inquired whether he needs a little bit of time to retain an attorney.
Yeah.
So that is, I'm doing that request on his behalf, Judge.
Okay, that's okay. He can come around and then, Lieutenant, I need Mr. Owens here and then I need Mr. Jerome Jackson on deck. So where would you like him to be placed? There? Jerome Jackson?
No.
All right, come around where the marshal is him. All right. Mr. Canoris Antion Owens, you were accused of battery on October 6, 2021.
Yes, ma'am.
And case number 21 CR 005292D. And Ms. Tortorello, are you the prosecutor for that case?
Yes, Your Honor.
She is right there on the screen. You see her?
Yes.
All right. So, Mr. Owens, this is a misdemeanor charge. This case has been pending for more than a year. All right?
Yes.
You do not qualify for the services of the public defender's office. So you can either hire your own attorney or you can represent yourself. How would you like to proceed?
Hire attorney.
You want to hire an attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm asking you these questions because I want no misunderstandings the next time we talk.
Yes, ma'am.
So today your case is going to be arraigned. In other words, you're going to plead not guilty and I'm going to put it on the track for a trial. I will give you another reset date for the attorney to appear and let me know how they want to proceed.
Mhm.
But your case is going to be placed on track for trial. Do you understand?
I was trying to reset, so I can talk to my lawyer and see.
Listen very carefully.
Yes,
I started off by telling you your case has been pending for more than a year.
Mhm.
Understood?
yes, ma'am.
And this court date here is for you to either plead guilty and accept a plea offer from the state or to plead not guilty and put your case on trial. This is what this calendar is about.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And I'm going to give you time. I'm going to give you a reset date. It's going to be January 20th for you and your attorney to appear. But today I'm going to arraign your case, which means you have 10 days to hire an attorney and for the attorney to file a notice that they're representing you. We call that an entry of appearance.
Yes, ma'am.
And to file all motions in which a defense attorney is required to protect your rights.
Yes, ma'am.
10 days. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Before I proceed, I'm going to ask Ms. Tortorella whether there's a plea offer in your case. Ms. Tortorella?
Yes, Your Honor, there is a plea offer. The state did add a second count of battery in this case. There were 2 transactions against the same victim. Count 1, battery, 12 months, served 60 days, credit for time served, 3 days, balance probated, 12-week anger management, no contact with the victim, to stay away from the incident location, 40 hours of community service, and any restitution owed. For count 2, battery, 12 months, served 60 days, credit for time served 3 days, balance probated, and it will run concurrent to count 1, and it does not merge. Nothing further.
All right. So, Mr. Owens, what the state is offering, if you decide to plead guilty, is that you're going to be required to do additional jail time and that you'll be in anger management and pay restitution and do community service while on probation. I would recommend that you retain an attorney as soon as possible. You really don't have any more time to waste.
Mhm.
Understood? So I will accept your not guilty plea today.
So, my bad, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry. So, if I was to plead guilty today, how many days I have to do incarcerated?
They're asking for additional 60 days. You have been given credit for 3 days. According to my math, you would have to do 27 more days at the Fulton County Jail.
Yeah, I'm just take the lawyer in 10 days.
You have 10 days from today to make sure the lawyer files everything.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do you want me to read the accusation or do you just want me to waive a reading of the charges?
You can read everything.
You want me to read the charges?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Give me a moment to pull that out. So when you were originally booked in, you were charged with 1 count of battery. And on November 28, 2022, the Solicitor General, that's the prosecutor, added an additional charge of battery. So you have 2 counts of battery against you.
And Your Honor, I also amended the first count on November 28th.
Okay, so I'm just going to read both that were filed on November 28th. If the system would be nice to me. Okay. Mr. Canoris Owen, you've been advised of your right to remain silent and your right to an attorney, and you've represented that you're going to hire an attorney and that your next court date, you will bring your attorney with you.
Yes, ma'am.
Good?
Yes, Your Honor.
I don't want any excuses that you put it off to the last minute or all these other excuses I've been hearing, especially yesterday. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
As I already told you, you have 10 days to make sure you get your attorney and have all the appropriate paperwork filed. You are charged with 2 counts of battery based upon the amended accusation that was filed by the prosecutor on November 28, 2022. You are legally presumed innocent of these charges, and upon your entry of a not guilty plea, the case will be proceeding to trial.
Yes, ma'am.
In the accusation, the first one, as it reads, the Solicitor General for Fulton County, Georgia, does bring the charge of battery against the accused, or that said accused, on October 6, 2021 in Fulton County, did intentionally cause visible bodily harm, to wit, bleeding and lacerations to Victoria Anderson by throwing and striking her. Said offense as alleged is separate and distinct from the offense alleged in count 1. So I'm reading you count 2, okay? And count 1 alleges by the prosecutor that said accused with the offense of battery for that said accused in Fulton County, Georgia on October 6, 2021, did intentionally cause visible bodily harm, to wit, cuts to Victoria Anderson by striking her in violation of Georgia law 16-5-23.1. So those are the 2 charges involving the same victim. You do understand that you have a bond order from October 7th, 2021, which requires you to have no contact with Victoria Anderson and to stay away from 3018 Middleton Road.
Yes.
I hope you've been complying with that.
Yes.
Okay, good. Upon your entry of a not guilty plea, the case will go to trial. The prosecutor will have the burden, the complete burden, to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. If the prosecutor succeeds, you could be convicted of 1 or more of these charges and face a penalty of up to a year in prison and or up to $1,000 fine.
Yes, Your Honor.
Given this information, how do you plead?
Not guilty.
Okay, I'll accept your not guilty plea. The case is scheduled for trial. We're going to issue what we call a case management order today, right?
And Your Honor, is this case reset to specific calendar?
Yes. It's going to be reset to the January 20th. I'm just going to put it on a status calendar because hopefully his attorney will show up. Is at 9 a.m. And when your attorney shows up, he or she will know what to do or ask for.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Any questions, Mr. Owens?
I was trying to. No, that's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
All right. You're free to go.
All right.
Please make sure you start working on getting that attorney. Good luck.
Got you.
All right. And remember, 2 counts. All right. Thank you.
And Your Honor, I don't mean to interrupt you, but we are already on position 5 of the arraignment calendar, Mr. Hodges.
All right. I will be with Mr. Hodges very shortly.
Understood,
Mr.
Judge.
Jackson, please. This is position 7, State versus Jerome Jackson he's charged with simple battery domestic violence from December 17, 2021. Case number 21 CR 7687D. Mr. Jackson, you've already been advised of your right to remain silent and your right to an attorney. With regards to representing yourself, I just want you to make sure that if you choose to represent yourself, none of us here in the courtroom, including myself, can give you any legal advice. You are responsible for understanding the law, the criminal procedures, and how it impacts your particular case. Any legal decision that you make, you will be responsible for how it impacts your case, how it impacts your personal situation, whether you have any other open pending cases, whether it may impact your residency, if it's applicable, any professional licenses, your ability to find a job, so forth and so on.
Got you, Your Honor, but I know I'm not guilty, so.
Right. I just want you to understand what it means to represent yourself.
Understand?
Are you waiving your right to counsel?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So you are proceeding pro se. Okay. And so I'm going to arraign your case today and you're going to plead not guilty and
Yes,
have
ma'am.
your case on trial. Is
Yes,
that
ma'am.
correct? And do you want a bench trial? That means a trial before the judge, which I can give you an earlier date, or it will be a jury trial, which will be a little further down the line.
I'll do a bench trial.
Bench trial?
Yeah, because it's
Okay.
obvious.
So, Mr. Jackson, did you want me to read the charge or wait for reading of the charge?
You can read the charge.
Read the charge, okay? Oops. And the accusation was filed on December 18, 2021, in which the Fulton County Solicitor General's office does bring a misdemeanor offense of simple battery domestic violence against Mr. Jackson, alleging that on December 17, 2021, in the county of Fulton, the accused did intentionally make physical contact of an insulting and provoking nature with the person of Sharodrick Sheely, who is the other person living in the same household of the accused, by slamming him in violation of Georgia law 16-5-23F. That's the accusation that's been brought against you, sir. You are legally presumed innocent of the charge, and upon your entry of a not guilty plea, the case will be scheduled for a bench trial.
I'm not guilty.
All right? Just give me a moment.
Yes, ma'am.
At the time of the trial, the prosecution has the complete burden to prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. If the prosecution does succeed, you could be convicted and face a possible penalty of up to a year in prison and or up to $1,000 fine. Now, given this information, how do you plead?
I'm not guilty.
Not guilty. Okay. A case management order will be issued. It will be available by e-file, which means how you can retrieve the information from the system, or you can go to the clerk's office on the first floor and retrieve a copy of the case management order. It will set forth the time frame in which you will have to complete certain requirements or file certain requirements, subpoena witnesses, and so forth.
So
Okay,
I'm to the first floor.
first floor. You're on the ground floor right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Your Honor, I apologize for interrupting. I understand that Mr. Jackson has asked for a bench trial, but was a Ferretta hearing conducted where Mr. Jackson expressly waived his right to a jury trial?
Mr. Jackson, do you waive your right to a jury trial?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Repeat.
Yes, ma'am.
You heard
Waive the
that?
right to a jury trial.
But Your Honor, I believe it has a little more detail to it than that he has to be expressly given his rights, his constitutional rights.
I already advised him of his rights. Well, if you want me to give him more detail about jury trial, that's fine. Mr. Jackson, a bench trial is a trial in which, like I said, I can give you a specific date, and right now the date I have is it January 27th? Yeah. Right now, the date I have is January 27th at 1:30 p.m.
Okay,
All right?
thank you.
And in a jury trial, the judge will make the decision of the verdict. The judge only referees the evidence, makes sure that all the criminal procedures are being followed, and that the evidence and the arguments are properly presented before a jury.
And may I ask, are you the judge that will be doing it?
I don't know,
Okay.
but the folks who will be deciding your verdict will be a panel of your peers. You will have the opportunity, just like the prosecutor, to select the jurors and decide, through the legal process, who will serve as a jury. You have a right to a panel of 6 individuals or a panel of 12 people. And once the jury is impaneled and sworn in, they will decide the final verdict of guilty or not guilty. All right? And that is a jury trial. And you have a right to that. A bench trial, as I said, the judge will make the decision as to guilty or not guilty. And the judge will not only be acting as as I said, the referee of the evidence and the procedure, but the judge will wear a different hat to be the fact finder as well. So I hope that gives you more information about the difference between a bench trial and a jury trial.
All right, no, ma'am.
Do you want a bench trial or a jury trial?
We get a bench trial, ma'am.
Bench trial?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you expressly waive your right to a jury trial?
Expressly waive my right to a jury trial.
Okay. Satisfied, Ms. Riley?
And Your Honor, I just make sure that Mr. Jackson is aware of the dangers of representing himself. And that's
He has been so advised.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Okay. As I said, a case management will issue. Come up to the first floor in the clerk's office, give them your case number, and they'll be glad to print out the case management order for you. Between now and January 27th at 1:30 p.m., consider either consulting with an attorney or hiring one.
Okay,
All right. Anything else, Mr. Jackson?
that's it, ma'am.
See you for trial.
See you.
Take care.
Have a great day. Okay.
Can you give him a copy of the case management order today? Yeah. Okay. Ms. Rockwell, can you hear me? I don't know, guys. There she goes. Okay. Yes, Ms. Rockwell.
Hi,
Uh,
Judge. First, Judge, thank you so much for allowing the reset on Matthew Littlefield. And I have texted Madam Prosecutor just to make sure she knows that she can release her witnesses.
Okay.
The second thing that I would like to ask, Your Honor, and I don't want to obstruct or cause too much commotion, but you have a case on for a bench trial this afternoon. Mr. Charlie Eddy, 20 CR 003-435F as in Frank. I have been in communication with Madam Prosecutor on this case also. And Judge, he was attempting to proceed on his own today. We're very dangerously close to resolving the case. I was actually communicating with Madam Prosecutor that I was scared to jump in this late in the game. Like right before the trial. But I can assure you, Judge, I don't think that he's ever asked for a reset. Maybe the case has been reset a couple of times. And I think it may be very judiciously economic if he has an attorney advising him on just a couple of things. I know that there's an evidence.com video. I was hoping, I don't know if I can even send it to him, but try to figure out a way for him to see it. He is without a record. Madam Prosecutor and I have spoken about a disposition on Mr. Eddy, and I told him that I would be addressing the court early today to see if we could get that on.
Okay, Ms. Rockwell, I don't know who's the ASG who's going to be trying the case. I have a feeling it's Miss Marshall's story. So she indicated to me, right? And she's not here until 1:30. I'm going to require Mr. Eddy to show up in the court, and if you're able to do so as well, and see if y'all can. But this case is scheduled for trial. It has been reset a couple of times, and I'm not open to any further resets. So, that's where I'm standing on that particular case.
Okay, Judge. Eve, and let me ask you this, Judge. Can I try to get Miss Marshall's story in on this conversation? I don't want to address.
She's not available until 11 o'clock, 11:30 or 1:30. I've got a motions calendar at 11:30, and then I think I've got 4 motions scheduled, and then
I think you said on one of them, Judge. That was Mr. Littlefield. So I appreciate that.
Okay, so and then 1:30 is the bench trial. So, and I've got 2 bench trials. So go ahead and do show up. Miss Marshall's story is going to be here, I'm sure, before 1 to talk to her witnesses.
Okay. I just didn't want her to drag her witnesses down, Judge, if he was gonna be.
If you want to email her, that's
Yeah.
your, that would be the best course of action.
Yes, Judge, thank you so much, and.
Okay,
Your
And-
Honor, Miss ASG Marshall Story is giving me a call if
yeah, ask her to reach out to Miss Rockwell. All right? Thank you. Miss Helen, what was the announcement for your case and what position number was it?
Yes, Judge, he's position number 5 on the arraignment calendar. Judge, our announcement is we're asking for a one-time reset. I want to enter in my appearance for Mr. Hodges's case. He does qualify for the Public Defender's Office's services today. I'd also like to email him to Discovery and discuss that with him too, Judge.
Okay, just 1 second.
Also, which solicitor or ASG is the solicitor for
That
this
would be
case?
ASG Riley,
Okay.
and when the court is ready, Your Honor, I would like to place the offer on the record.
Jackson, I've signed the case management order. They're going to make a copy and give it to you. Then you're free to go. Okay. All right, Miss Helen, you are representing Mr. Hodges. Mr. Hodges is in the courtroom.
He's on Zoom, Judge. He's on the Zoom link.
Zoom, sorry. Okay. So are you filing a waiver of arraignment or do you want me to arraign the case?
Please arraign today, Judge.
All right. And and with regards to Mr. Hodges, has the state given you an offer for that case?
Your Honor, I would like to place that on the record whenever you're ready.
I'm ready.
It is 12 months to serve, 30 days. The balance on probation. He is to have no contact with Beneva Johnson and to stay away from 450 Dartmouth Drive, Northwest in Atlanta.
You said the balance was to be probated. What's the conditions for probation?
That he is to have no contact with Beneva Johnson and is to stay away from 450 Dartmouth Drive in Atlanta.
All right. And to serve 30 days, credit for time served, does he have?
No, Your Honor, it would not be credit for time served. I
Okay,
mean, of course, he would get credit for any time he served upon arrest, but
okay, let me see. I'm sorry, folks. Move forward to the arraignment calendar.
Judge, I have days of confinement of 2 days from October 19th of 2021 to October 20th of 2021 with the
Okay.
pretrial signature bond.
All right, so he would have to serve an additional
28.
30 days, so he'll be given credit for the 2 days. So he'll be serving an additional 13 days in jail. That's the offer.
That is the offer, Judge.
So 12 months to actual jail time would be 13 days. No contact. After that, it will be no contact with Ms. Johnson and stay away from the Dartmouth Drive. So that's the offer. Do you want me to reset this for a bench trial or a jury trial or to a possible plea calendar?
Judge, it'll possibly be a possible plea calendar. And if we could get the date for that, Judge.
Okay. I'm going to reset this case for a final plea calendar. Of course, if your client decides that he wants to go to trial, we'll need to know whether it's a jury or bench trial. The bench trials right now are being scheduled on January 27th.
Understood, Judge.
And one of the spots is already taken, so I've got one more spot. But anyways, the final plea calendar is January 20th at 9 a.m. Courtroom G33. Okay, Do you waive, I'm sorry, did you waive a reading of the accusation, Ms. Helen?
We do, Judge.
Okay, so Mr. Christian Hodges, you are accused of simple assault, domestic violence on case 21 CR 005635D. You have been advised of your right to remain silent, and you're represented by the Public Defender's Office in this particular case. With regards to this misdemeanor offense, upon your entry of a not guilty plea, the case will be scheduled for trial. Whether you decide a bench trial or a jury trial will be entirely up to you and your attorney. At the time of the trial, the prosecutor, who has the complete burden of proof, must prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. If the state prevails, you could be convicted and face a penalty of up to a year in prison and or up to $1,000 fine. Given this information, how do you plead? Mr. Hodges, you need to unmute.
Not guilty.
Right. Accept your not guilty plea, a case management order will issue. The case is scheduled for final plea on January 20th if the parties are able to negotiate a plea arrangement. Thank you.
Understood, Judge. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
And is Mr. Hodges excused from the Zoom link?
Yes, he is. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you, Judge.
Hodges. You're free to go. Please make sure you keep in touch with your attorney. All right,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
have this other position, Demetrius Hood. Demetrius Hood, actually, I guess I had actually, Ms. Challenger had filed a waiver of arraignment and demand for a jury trial. So this case is going to be further notice for trial. That's for position 6.
And
Okay.
Your Honor, I have spoken via email with Ms. Challenger. I do know that she did file the waiver. However, she is now requesting she has initial discovery, the body worn and 911 call. So I would ask for that to be put to either a status or a final plea calendar before placing it on a jury trial calendar, Your Honor.
Do you have the body cam and video? Do you have all this information?
It has to be uploaded to the system for me to send it to her, but yes.
So there is,
Requested.
so there is this outstanding video. I mean, I just want
There
to
is,
make sure.
yes,
Okay.
there is a video, yes.
All right. I don't want piecemeal discovery. Every time I put in a status calendar, they say, oh, there's something else. Oh, there's something else. I mean, you guys, I just want to make sure that if you have all your discovery right now, that is not, that is disclosable, it needs to be uploaded or put in e-file or Odyssey or whatever y'all need to do. Okay, so on the Canoris Owen case, no, sorry.
Demetrius Hood.
Demetrius Hood, okay. So this is reset to January 20th, final plea calendar.
Yeah, so.
Pending review of the state's discovery to be submitted at least 10 days before January 20th. I don't want it to be uploaded like 2-3 days before January 20th. It must be uploaded and available to defense counsel at least 10 days before the January 20th date.
Yes, Your Honor, but that normally is 10 days prior to trial, but we will accommodate Ms. Challenger.
Ms. Riley, let me say one thing on record. Based on what I observed yesterday, all these last minute filings of discovery, clearly the defense were not ready to discuss a plea at the final plea calendar. So I want to make sure that everyone has adequate time to review evidence so that everyone can come back to court either on a status calendar or a final plea calendar with a constructive decision. That's my 2 cents on my soapbox on that issue. Okay.
Your Honor.
Bill, Ms. Bray, what is the announcement for you, Mr. Fabric's case?
Your Honor, speaking with the ASG, there was 3 videos. I've been shared a link for one so far. So pending her sending me the other 2 links, I'd be able to review those. I would ask that this be put on a status calendar. I've got another case set for January 25th, and I believe his co-defendants are on that same date. If we could put it on that date.
Is that the only piece of evidence you're waiting on? Just the last 2 links for the video?
Your Honor, there is a correction. There are 3 videos, but there are 3 co-defendants. So it is the same video for each co-defendant. There is not access to share with anyone outside of our agency for the other 2, but it is a duplicate, those 3. And I apologize, Ms. Bray, I wasn't able to respond to your message before making your announcement.
So it looks like it's the same video 3 times.
Correct.
So it's just the one video that you've already shared with me?
Correct. But it's under each co-defendant.
Okay. Your Honor, so I still am asking for a reset, so I have a chance to review that with my client. And so that we can consider the state's offer in light of that video. So
Has your case been arraigned?
it is not. The first time on the calendar was when he came without me when I had my leave of absence. I sent him to court just to make sure that he was there. And so all my understanding is that happened there was that he was given a copy of the police report. So I'm not sure if he was arraigned without my presence.
I don't recall. I'm going to pull it up. So his last name?
Babbitt, Babak.
Yes, it was last Friday, December the 9th.
Okay, but it's not on our calendar because it was just reset. Okay. Give me the case number, please.
22 CR 007131.
All right, I'm going to reset it to the status calendar, January 20th. And on January 20th, Ms. Briggs, we either get ready for a plea or you file your waiver of arraignment at that time.
Yes, Your Honor. And will that be at 9 o'clock in the morning?
Yes.
And will that be via Zoom?
Yes.
Okay. Do I need to send any email to register via Zoom? Or is it the same Zoom link?
It's the same Zoom link. We just send them to, I did see an entry of appearance though in your case.
Yes, Your Honor. I filed that in my leave before the calendar last week.
This is, oh. So sorry. Let me go ahead. I got 22 CR. Which position? 007131. What?
I'm sorry, 22 CR 007128.
28.
That is the co-defendant's case, Your Honor.
Okay. Oh, you do have your entry appearance. That's fine. Okay. January 20th, status calendar is either for a final plea or you file your waiver of arraignment. You can file your waiver of arraignment.
Yes, Your Honor. Understood.
If once you review the video and you still want to go to trial, you can file your waiver of arraignment before the 20th. Make sure that the litigation manager knows so that you won't have to show up in court. All
Yes,
right?
Your Honor.
And like I said, we have date certain for bench trials if you all want to go to trials. All right? Thank you.
Thank you very much. May me and my client be excused.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. I don't have anyone else in the courtroom. And I don't have anyone else who's not been addressed on Zoom. So I'm just going to get Mr. Gaither to give any announcements or any individuals here to speak. Did we go over all the cases that you?
Yeah, I've covered it. I've covered everything, Judge, that I
Okay.
had.
Then let me go down the calendar. Position 1, Adelsberger is,
The state would move for a bench warrant, Your Honor.
okay. Let me just, sorry, I'm just going to pull up the calendar to make sure that they didn't file a waiver of arraignment.
I think that's the one that's in June, that I gave you the email.
Yes, so Mr. Zachary Adelsberger is actually been incarcerated in Cherokee County. Verified by the deputy, and his last court date, November 1st, 2021, he did not appear in court because he was in Cobb County Jail. So now he's in Cherokee County Jail. And I don't think he's represented by the Public Defender's Office.
He's not, Judge.
Okay. So, Ms. Riley, what would you like to do?
Your Honor, I'm not sure how long he's going to be in Cherokee County. Does the order from the
yes.
sheriff say?
Let's reset it to January 27th, 2023. And I'll put it on a status calendar. No, we don't have a status calendar that day. This will be a January 20th, excuse me. January 20th, status calendar. And if he's released, then maybe he'll appear and then we can take it up at that time. Position 2, Centricia Cobb. Her particular case, all I've got, yeah. What would you like to do? She didn't show up.
Yes, the state will request a bench warrant.
All right. Bench warrant issued for 1,500, 1,000 on the simple battery, 500 on the disorderly conduct. Mr. Fonseca Sanchez is reset to January 20th status calendar with Attorney Kenneth Mitchell. Position 4, Nakia Graham.
State will request a bench warrant.
Ms. Helen may be right about the, okay. So Mr. Graham has not appeared at least 3 times in 2021. I don't know where he is. He was in the DeKalb County Jail in October of 2021, but all right. Bench warrant granted, $1,000 surety bond. Position 5, Hodges has been arraigned, a case management order to issue, and case is reset for final plea on January 20th at 9 a.m. Position 6, the case is further notice for trial, is reset to January 20th for a final plea pending review of the state discovery. Position 7, Jackson has been arraigned, a case management order has been issued, and reset for a bench trial on January 27, excuse me. Reset for a bench trial, January 27 at 1:30 p.m. Position 8, Johnson is Norcross. Position 9, Canaris Owen is arraigned and case management order issued, reset to January 20th for Mr. Owens to appear with his attorney. And position 10 is Attorney Bob Rubin, and the case is further notice for trial. And position 11, Silver, Attorney Kevin Fisher filed a waiver arraignment, is further notice for trial. And I believe that concludes this calendar.
Your Honor, positions 12 through 14.
Oh, I'm sorry. Position 12, Shondes Thomas.
Your Honor, the state's requesting a bench warrant, bond forfeiture.
Okay, let me see. Bench warrant to issue. 1,000 on the trespass and $500 on the remaining charges, so that'll be 1,000. 2,500 surety bond. And Mr. Trejo, Elder Trejo.
State request a bench warrant bond forfeiture, Your Honor.
All right, granted. And that's going to be 2,000 in the DUI and 1,000 in the failure to maintain lane. That's a $3,000 surety. And position 14, Wheeler is null crossed. Did I get them all now?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, folks, thank you very much. We will resume at 11:30 for our motions calendar. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. It is 11:30 a.m. and we're going to be addressing our Orca C motions calendar. And I'm going to give Mr. Matthews a few moments, but position number one, Nikisha Tawana Barty. Mr. Hadid, I understand that this case was reset for a MH evaluation update. And I believe your client is still awaiting an evaluation.
That is correct, Judge. I'm covering for Ms. Gant, Judge, who's out.
And Ms. Barty is on Zoom.
And
Do you
she
see her?
is.
Yeah.
Judge, we had contacted through our social worker, contacted Emory to find out, any updates, and they responded that they had not received the request. The part that has to come from core services. I reached out to Ms. Gant this morning by email, and she suggested to contact Mr. Jordan, Michael Jordan. I don't know who that individual is, but
Okay, yeah, he's in charge of all the litigation.
okay. So I reached out to him by email just about an hour ago, as Judge, for an update, but that it's still pending.
Let's do this, whether it's you or Ms. Gant, go ahead and get the necessary documents from the, Ms. James, would he be doing it through you under Orca, or would he be doing it through Mr. Jordan to get the evaluation documents?
Apparently, Judge, Emory has a policy of they have to receive it from the courts.
Understood. Right, it's the form for order for evaluation and so forth. And Ms. Gant is very familiar with them as well.
I'm sorry. I believe that was submitted. All the paperwork has been done as far as I'm aware.
I don't see them. I'm looking at the file.
I will check with Mr. Jordan, Your Honor. He's in mental health court right now.
Okay.
So I will check with him.
I don't see the necessary documents filed. If it's been drafted, it's not been filed, but normally they're filed under state.
Right, correct.
So, all I'm saying is, it's a very common process that we use. The documents are generated by the clerk's office and submitted to the court for order, and then they are then submitted by the court to the services that does the evaluation.
And I'll make sure between myself and Ms. Gant. I mean,
Okay.
I've done that procedure before on another case, Judge, so.
All right.
But I'll make sure that it's done.
Ms. Barty, if you can unmute, please. All right, she's on the Zoom. All right. Ms. Barty, good morning. My name is Judge Law.
Good morning, ma'am.
All right, we are going to reset your case to January 27th.
Okay, why has it been reset so much?
Because your attorney is under the weather, is not well. Ms. Wanda Gant, and she needs to still submit certain documents.
Oh, okay, okay.
All right?
Yeah,
So
so
at
January,
27th at 9 a.m.
is that on a Friday?
That's on a Friday.
Okay, thank you so much, Judge. I'm
All
free
right? Thank you. You're free to go.
to go. Okay, thank you.
And good morning, Your Honor, Erica
Good morning, Ms.
Marshall.
Marshall Story.
There's
Yes.
nothing more for the state to do, is that correct?
Well, let's see now. Position 2, Matthew Littlefield is reset to January
Oh,
13th.
no, I'm sorry, I was referring to Miss Barty.
Oh, yes. At the present time, there's, as far as I can tell, we are pending an evaluation. Okay? All right, Ms. Barty, you have a great day. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Have a nice weekend and happy days. Merry Christmas.
You too. Thank you. Littlefield is reset to January 13th at 9 a.m. for a final plea. Oh, it's 9 o'clock. Do we have a status calendar on the 27th? I had motions.
Motion date, but I wasn't sure. Is she doing another motion?
Yeah, because this was scheduled for motions.
Okay, so we'll
And-
put it at 11:30.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Okay.
Your Honor.
Moving on, Littlefields reset to January 13th at 9 a.m. for final plea. Position 3, we're waiting on Mr. Richard Matthews is Mr. Richard Matthews?
I just called him. He's walking into the building.
Okay, Mr. Matthews is on his way in. Theodore Starr, position 4 has been reset pursuant to a consent order. So we're going to reset it to the January 27th motions calendar at 11:30 a.m. And Mr. Earl, are you handling the Starks plea, Matthews plea, excuse me?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Other than that, then as soon as we begin with Mr. Matthews plea, then we will be in recess until 1:30. Let me see. Miss Marshall Story, did Miss Renee Rockwell get in touch with you about Charlie Eddie?
To Ms. Rockwell, and it's my understanding we'll see you in court at 1:30. I'm not aware of any other
Okay.
changes.
All right. There's
Unless you
also
are, but I am not.
Maurice Robertson. We're ready for trial on that one?
State's ready, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. All right, we will wait on Mr. Matthews for the plea. We'll be in recess until he appears. Thank you. Serving on the- He has to sign here.
Yes, it's right here.
Yeah, the defense. All right, thank you, Mr. Matthews. Okay, we are addressing position 3 on our Orca C motion calendar for today, December 16, 2022. We have State versus Richard Matthews, 21 CR 0000632F. Mr. Matthews is accused of DUI, driving under the influence of drugs, reckless driving, speeding, driving without a valid license, possession of an open alcohol container, possession of an alcoholic beverage by persons under the age of 21 from incident date of March 21st, 2019 in Fulton County, Georgia. Mr. Matthews, you have a right to remain silent about the facts of the case. Anything you say, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and representing you is Mr. Hadid from the Public Defender's Office.
It's actually Haddad, Judge.
Haddad, sorry.
Sorry to.
No, you shouldn't be sorry for your name. But I have a friend who's a Hadid, so my bad. Sorry, Mr. Haddad, who is with the Public Defender's Office. Okay. So, Mr. Matthews, I'm going to place you under oath for purposes of the plea. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right. Ms. Tortorella, what is the state's plea offer?
Yes, Your Honor, this is the defendant's first in life. For DUI drugs, 12 months, served 1 day. Credit for time served 1 day, balance probated, a $700 fine, 40 hours of community service, ADET, risk reduction, 1 victim impact panel, and the state will be no crossing the remaining charges. Does defense stipulate to the facts, venue, and ID of the matter?
We do.
Nothing further from the state.
Thank you. Mr. Haddad, your client accepts these terms?
Yes, Judge. My only request is if the court can consider waiving the probation fee, and I understand if the court is not inclined on it. This is a negotiated plea that Ms. Gant had worked out with the state. My client is in agreement with it. He is, this happened, I think, 2 years ago. He's working, he's finished high school, Judge. So I would respectfully request the court to follow the state's recommendation, negotiate.
Okay. Where are you working?
I work at Toyota.
Toyota?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. I will waive your probation fees for half of the year.
Thank you.
So it'll be through the end of July. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
So probation fees are waived through the end of July 2023, providing that you comply with all the other requirements.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Of course, if there is a probation violation, you risk the chance of probation reinstating the fees for all those months. So it's really up to you. I'm giving you actually 7 months waiver.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Matthews, have you consumed any medication or alcohol recently?
No, ma'am.
And are you satisfied with your attorney's representation?
Yes, ma'am.
And have you been forced to or induced to take a plea offer today?
No, ma'am.
And are you doing so freely, willingly, and voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am.
As your attorney explained to you, by taking this plea offer, you'll be waiving your constitutional rights, including the right to file any appeal from this decision.
Yes, ma'am.
The other right will be the right to have a trial, to confront your accuser, challenge the witnesses, challenge the evidence presented by the state, be able to argue any defenses if you choose to do so, and have the state try to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to 1 count of driving under the influence of drugs?
Guilty.
I accept the other charges are going to be null pros. Excuse me. Siri, shush. As I was saying, the other charges are going to be null pros. In other words, the state is not going to prosecute you for those other charges. Your sentence is 12 months to serve 1 day, credit for time served 1 day. Your jail time is concluded. The remainder of the time will be on probation. You will report to probation every month, and you'll start paying probation fees from August 1st, 2023, as long as you're in compliance and there are no revocations throughout your probation.
Yes, ma'am.
You'll be required to pay a $700 fine plus court costs. You will need to complete 40 hours of voluntary community service at any nonprofit agency which is not a school and not a religious organization. All right? The agency has to give you a letter with the letterhead signed by a supervisor showing that you completed at least those many hours. You will submit yourself to a medical health provider for an alcohol and drug evaluation and submit yourself to any treatment or counseling at your expense if required. You will also complete a 1 risk reduction program and attend 1 victim impact panel. These are programs that you need to qualify with your probation officer and make sure that they're acceptable to them. They will also explain to you the details of the victim impact panel or any of the other programs that you need to attend.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do you have any questions?
So with the nonprofit, would an animal refuge work?
And animal services, animal refuge, you just need to confirm with them that they are a non-profit agency.
Okay.
All right. We do have some animal care services that are for profit, but you might want to check with them.
Yes, ma'am.
That's a good choice. I like that choice. Okay, thank you. Okay, anything else, sir?
Your Honor, I believe his license has to be physically taken from him, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not 100% sure.
If it's not been surrendered to authorities at the time they arrest, he needs to surrender it to the clerk's office.
That's not.
All right. Are y'all seeking a first offender?
I am, Judge.
All right. So,
It's a license.
First offenders only for alcohol.
First offender.
there is,
Your Honor, first offender is only for alcohol.
what?
The first offender, I believe is only for alcohol. But you can look at, I read that on the manual, but you're free to look at that, counsel.
I wasn't aware of that.
It's not, we're not requesting first offender.
No. I meant, the driving privileges
Yeah.
for, is it only for DUI alcohol?
That's what I read, Your Honor.
All right. If you want to look into that, that's fine. Otherwise, I'll be glad to sign it if it's for both DUI alcohol and,
I'll follow up, Judge, and if there's different, I'll submit.
okay.
If it's.
The form is, reach out to Mr. Michael. Ms. Petrona, do you want him to reach out to you or to Mr. Michael Jordan? Okay, okay. So for the form, it's basically a limited driving privilege, which will allow Mr. Matthews to drive like from home to work, for groceries, for medical, for church, and to perform your community service and all that.
Okay. So my license isn't getting
So,
taken.
you can give it.
Yes. It's.
Oh, just 1 second. There's a form that's giving the forms. This is actually for the first. Yeah. It's not valid for DUI drugs conviction. I never even read that portion, just. Okay. All right.
Go to probation, okay, and then give you the court when the report. Once you're on probation, you go to the one with the vehicles. And be done, because a lot of times, once you complete the class risk reduction, they may be able to give you. But you get worked out, all that is through the bank and motor vehicle. You're gonna give you a privilege.
All right, I believe that takes care of the only other case that we had on this motions calendar. We are in recess until 1:30 for trial. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.